keeping diseases away. In last class we discussed about bacteria and also we discussed about various diseases which is caused by bacteria. So today we shall discuss about virus and fungus, and also we shall learn about the diseases which is caused by virus and fungus. So first let us learn about virus. So let us look on to the structure of virus. So here you can see this is the structure of virus. Then what is the speciality of this structure? You can see that here there is the genetic material. The genetic material of the virus can be DNA or RNA. So it can be DNA or RNA. And this genetic material is present inside a protein coat. So there will be a protein coat. This is the protein coat and the genetic material is inside this protein coat. Then one another speciality of the structure of virus is that it does not have any cell organelles. We know that normal cell have cell organelles. Which are the cell organelles? Yes, ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, all these are cell organelles. But the structure of virus does not have any cell organelles. And also, if the virus infects on an organism, for example, if a human being gets infected with virus, the virus enters into the body of that organism or that human being and it take control over the genetic mechanism of that human being, or we can call as the organism on which the virus infects is known as host. So here we can call the human being as a host. So if the virus enters into the body of that host, it will take control over the genetic mechanism of that host and it will multiply into numerous number. This virus not only infects human beings, but it also infects some plants, then some other animals, and also it may affect even the bacteria. Now we shall discuss about some diseases which is caused by virus. So while talking about viral disease, the first disease which comes into our mind is that COVID-19. So till now we are in the trap of COVID-19 and we are now listening to the online classes. It's only because of COVID-19. So COVID-19, which is caused by the virus called coronavirus, and we are familiar with all the symptoms and about the vaccinations and all. So now let us move on to the next disease, that is Nipah. So Nipah, till now it is there in our society, and now also even in recent days also we are hearing about the several news related with Nipah, and it is there in our surroundings. So Nipah is caused by the virus which is called Nipah virus. So the name of the virus is Nipah virus, and we know that the vector which transmits the Nipah virus is bat. So the name of the vector is fruit-eating bats. So the vector of Nipah is fruit-eating bats. So how the Nipah virus transmission takes place? We already know that the vector of Nipah is fruit-eating bats. So when the bats eat fruits, the saliva and the urine of bat remains over that fruits. So there will be the presence of Nipah virus. Those infected bats will be having Nipah virus. The presence of Nipah virus will be there in the saliva and urine. And if we consume those fruits which is eaten by bat, what will happen? Yes, the Nipah virus can easily enter into our body. And also we human beings will get infected from pigs. So how? When the pigs consume those fruits which is eaten by bat, the pigs will get infected with Nipah virus, and from pigs the Nipah virus can also enter into the body of human beings. So this is how the Nipah virus get transmitted. And from human being to another human being it can transmit through direct contact or by sneezing or by coming into contact with some body fluids. The Nipah virus can transmit from one person to another person. Then what are the precautions that we can take to prevent getting infected from Nipah virus? The first thing is that we should avoid consuming the fruits which is eaten by, or the remains of the fruits which is eaten by bats. This is the first thing that we have to take care of. Then the another thing is that we should wear mask to prevent the transmission of disease from one person to another person. So if we are infected, if we wear mask, our body fluids will not spread in the surrounding air and it will not get transmitted from us to another person. So we should take care by doing all these things. I know that we all are aware about all these things through newspaper, through television reports, so and so. Now we shall discuss about the next disease which is caused by virus, and that is AIDS. And the full form of AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So AIDS, which is known as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So AIDS, which is caused by the virus which is known as HIV virus, which is caused by HIV virus. HIV, the full form of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. The full form of HIV is human immunodeficiency virus. So AIDS is caused by the virus which is known as HIV virus. So if the HIV virus enters into our body, it will mainly affect our lymphocytes. So we already know that lymphocytes are associated with white blood cells which helps to provide immunity to our body. So when the HIV virus enters into our body, it multiplies in our body by using the genetic mechanism of lymphocytes. So as a result, the number of lymphocytes decreases. So when lymphocytes decreases, what happens? Yes, the immunity of our body also decreases, and as a result, many other pathogens can enter into our body. So pathogens means disease causing viruses, bacteria and some other microorganisms. So all those pathogens can easily enter into our body if we are not having proper immunity power. So as a result, we will cause or we will affected with several other diseases, several other deadly diseases, and this makes our condition more worse, and finally it leads to death. So which are the ways by which the HIV virus spreads? So we shall learn it one by one. Look at this picture. Here you can see the first thing is through sexual contact with an HIV infected person. This is one of the main reason for transmitting of HIV virus. Then the second reason is that it can be transmitted from a HIV infected mother to the fetus, or if a mother is infected with HIV virus, it can be easily transmitted to the baby which is there inside the womb of mother. Then the next one is by sharing the needle which is already contaminated with HIV components. And the last one is, or the last reason for the transmission of HIV virus is by receiving the blood from an HIV infected person, or by receiving some organs from the HIV infected person. Children, we know that in our society, the people who are having AIDS or people who are infected with HIV virus are normally get isolated from the society, isn't it? So what is the reason for that? It is because the people are afraid to talk to them or to be friendly with them. It is because it is such a deadly disease or a dangerous disease, and the normal people are afraid to talk to them. So people are fear that if we talk to them, whether it may transmit from that patient to us. So do we need such a fear? Do we need such a fear? No. The HIV virus will not be transmitted very easily from one person to another person. The HIV virus cannot be transmitted by sneezing. So if an HIV patient sneezes, we don't have to be afraid. The HIV virus cannot enter into our body from that. So the HIV virus also cannot enter into our body if an HIV patient cough, or if we shake hand with an HIV patient. We don't have to worry. And if we live together with them, or if we share food with them, we don't have to be afraid. And also if we are using same toilets, if we are sharing toilet with an HIV patient, we don't have to be worried. Or we don't have to be worried for taking bath in a same pond with an HIV patient. And also the HIV virus cannot be transmitted when a mosquito, through mosquito, houseflies and all. If a mosquito bites over the HIV patient's body, and if it come to us and bite us, the HIV virus cannot enter into our body. So we don't have to be afraid to be friendly with them, to shake hand with them, or such sharing of food in all these things. Now we shall discuss about the next viral disease, and that is hepatitis. So hepatitis is a liver disease which is also caused by the virus. So now we shall learn about the symptoms associated with hepatitis. So symptoms. So which are the symptoms associated with hepatitis? The first symptom is that the inflammation of liver. It is the major symptom of hepatitis. So we know that from liver the bile juice is secreted. We already studied in lower classes that about bile juice is secreted by liver. So when the liver gets inflamed, what happens is the flow of bile juice will be blocked. And when the bile juice blocked, it will result in the accumulation of the pigment of bile juice, and that is called bilirubin. So when the quantity of bilirubin increases, it can be detected from our blood, and also it imparts a dark yellow color to our mucous membrane, to the white part of our eye, and also to our nails. So these are the external symptoms by which we can detect the hepatitis. So now we shall discuss about the transmission of hepatitis. Transmission. So which are the ways by which the hepatitis transmits? Hepatitis can be transmitted through contaminated food and water. And also it can be transmitted from the blood of a patient who was infected with the hepatitis, or from the excreta of the patient. And also it can be transmitted by all the ways by which the HIV virus transmits. Then some other common viral diseases which are common in our Kerala, which include chikungunya, dengue fever. So both these diseases are spread through the pathogens or vectors, which are mosquitoes. So the mosquitoes can be increased, the number of mosquitoes or the number of pathogens or the number of vectors can be increased by the contaminated surroundings, or if our surroundings are not cleaned properly, it will lead to the increase in the number of vectors. So which are the preventive measures? Yes, we can clean our surroundings properly, and also we can celebrate a dry day by cleaning all our surroundings and keeping our surroundings dry. So by this methods we can decrease the number of vectors.
Now we shall discuss about fungal diseases or the diseases which is caused by fungus. Ringworm is a skin disease which is caused by fungi, and this creates round and red blisters on the skin. Then athlete's foot is a fungal infection which manifests on the sole of the foot and between the toes. It creates reddish scaly rashes.